What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Chad and Brian of Hemlock. It is great to be able to talk with you. Thank you both for being here today.
Yeah, what's up? How are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. It's so awesome to have you guys here. Now that your last two albums, both Violence and Victory and Carmageddon, are hitting the 2-year-old mark, is there like an overall conclusion that you have on this record cycle? And also, what else could we be expecting from Hemlock in the near future in terms of new music?
Just touring like crazy. We weren't able to tour on these albums for so long with everything being shut down. So now we're hitting it hard. Plus, it being the 30-year anniversary this year. We're
Of the
going
band.
of the band. Yeah. Going crazy and just doing as many shows as possible. Back out on the East Coast again. Finally, we're excited to be coming out that way.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to have you coming back on the East Coast. I remember the first time hearing of Hemlock, it was like on one day. I wasn't there, but I remember reading that you guys were playing Mayhem Fest. I forgot what year it was, but you were opening like the Jaeger stage at Mayhem, and so a lot has happened since then, let alone 30 years.
Yeah, I missed those Jaeger stages. Those were fun shows.
Yeah, yeah, you were on it a couple times, right?
Yeah. They put us on 3 or 4 different years, and we do different sections of the tour and stuff. But yeah, we came out and did some East Coast ones before because they asked, like, where do you guys want to play? And we're like, as far out on the East Coast as we can. So we came out to Connecticut, and they put us on the Slayer tour too with Jägermeister. We played in Philly and all over the place. It was fun.
Yeah, no, it looked like a hell of a time. But 30 years of the band, congratulations. The band, just to say, like, I'm the same age as Hemlock, so it's great to be able to say that.
Awesome.
How would you say the songwriting and the
We'll
evolution?
celebrate together.
Exactly, right? Uh, how would you say the songwriting and the sound of Hemlock has evolved over the years when you compare Controlance to Shutdown to now with Carmageddon and Violence and Victory, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, you've done your homework. I appreciate it.
I'd say there's definitely been growth within the songs and the albums. I think we try to push a little bit more every time and just take what already is our core and just branch out even more.
And after you do the songs at a live show, you start to realize what also transfers good on album versus what goes better live. So, and we're more of a live band, so we try to always bring the good, heavy head banging, jumping around, screaming along, catchy choruses so everybody could get involved. So and then also from being around for so long, you don't want to re-record the same song 92 times. So we keep trying to put a little bit of variety in each song and having a mixture of stuff and mixture of styles, because we listen to everything from Faith No More and Eddie Money all the way to Cannibal Corpse and everything in between. So we try to mix in all kinds of different genres and styles.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to like the overall songwriting process too, because again, you're right. Like I've always seen elements of hardcore and straight up brutal
Yeah,
heavy
of
metal
course.
within your sound and whatnot. So like, but going to your live show, having so many albums out now, because people want to hear stuff off of Shutdown, people want to hear stuff off of No Time for Sorrow or The Only Enemy, etc. So does it get harder to put a set list together with every live show that you play or with every album you put out?
I gave up on set lists a long time ago because I could never figure it out. So I gave him that job, and he gets to write a set list every night. And they don't like doing
What's fun
the
is
same set.
I don't personally, we don't have the choreography and all the lasers and dancers and all that. So for us, we just approach it differently. And I like to do a completely different set list every night. So we actually, on any given tour, you're not going to hear the same 15, 20 songs every night. Also, if you catch us multiple times in the same tour, it'll be a completely different show. So now we can go out on the road with 60 songs ready to go, and then you just mix those up all the time and vary it up. So we are able to touch on a lot of songs, and we'll get last minute. Someone's at the show like, "Yeah, I haven't heard this song in so many years. Can you guys play it?" And we'll sometimes sneak it into the set last minute as well. So it's nice to have that flexibility. But yeah, it is fun, and especially this year as well, being 30 years, we are trying to go back and touch on some older songs that we may have not played in a while. And we brought one back out from our very first cassette demo, actually,
Yeah.
and we did that on the first leg of this tour. So a song called Frowns of Fortune that we haven't played in
27 years or
this
something
century,
like
at
that. I
least.
don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Had to actually relearn it because we tune lower now too. So I mean, just transferring it down a step or two to the C tuning instead of the E tuning that we used to tune to back when we were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, no, that's a hell of a set. Why don't you just do the whole catalog for a show?
That'd be fun.
Just a marathon. We should do a telethon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually do an hour and 20 minutes, and people always are impressed with the stamina that we have because we're jumping, headbanging. A lot of bands will come out and they'll go hard for the first song or two, and then they get tired. But we tour so much and do so much, just like conditioning. So we do an hour and 20, and we're still jumping on the last song, trying to get everybody at the audience involved and having a good time. It's like Hemlock cardio or something.
A Hemlock show is definitely a workout. There's no now I see why I'm speaking to you guys while you're currently at the gym.
Yeah, we're at Planet Fitness. Plus, they got free Wi-Fi, so it's good stuff. Yeah. Showers, working out, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Yeah. We're in Portland, Maine right now, so we're not too far away from you. We're going to be down that way soon.
Yep, August 13th, this coming Sunday, and it's going to be a hell of a time. And at the Kingsland, too, so it's nice and cozy, and they have pizza there. So everything you could possibly want from a venue is...
I was just going to make the joke. I got to go extra for the gym because I want to get some pizza with you.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to your overall songwriting process with the making of every album, have you always taken a new approach to every album, or has there been like a formula that Hemlock tend to stick with?
Back in the day, we would jam a lot and play the songs live a whole lot and kind of find good as you could go. So that way, when we were ready to hit the studio, we had the songs polished and good to go. The last two albums we had to get a little more creative, obviously, and we tracked completely differently and did a lot of pre-production ahead of time due to not being able to travel and all get together. So we did a lot of internet writing, I suppose.
Yeah, it was the first time of doing it that way, but it worked out really cool because nobody was allowed to travel and go see each other, so we just kind of did our own parts and pieces and had a bunch of riffs from the years previous that we kind of put the puzzle pieces together, and then we would email them back and forth and get on Messenger and just kind of collaborate a bunch. And then I went to Lubbock, Texas to go meet up with our guitar player, and we stayed out there for a week and a half and kind of put all the pieces together. Then we came back home and worked more on top of it, so it was kind of like building blocks each section. But these two albums are probably the truest Hemlock albums we've ever done because we weren't on a time restraint. We weren't on a money budget. We just did it all ourselves. And then when we were done with all the tracking, then we emailed them into the studio and got it mixed and mastered. And they sound amazing and turned out great. And we have 22 songs to tour on now, so that's why we're touring like crazy.
Yeah.
On top of the other 90 songs before or whatever.
Yeah. Is there going to be new Hemlock in the future though? Because now that these two records are hitting the 2-year-old mark.
They are, but it's weird because they seem brand new still because we haven't toured on them until this year. So there'll definitely be more music. I'm finding it kind of cool being around 30 years. We're kind of doing a lot of nostalgic stuff now. We've done a couple tours where we've come out and done like Shutdown. We did a full year on that. 20-year anniversary of our Shutdown album. Well, next year marks the Bleed the Dream. So me personally, I would like to do a 20-year tour of Bleed the Dream, and we'll start peppering in a few new tunes here and there. But I would like to probably say anytime we put anything on date, we jinx ourselves. But I would like to see the following year, maybe 2025.
2025 sounds like a good one. There it is. You just got the exclusive. Right. We just made it up right now.
Hell yeah.
New album in 2025. I'm always writing and coming up with the different lyrics and hooks and different little riffs, and then I just kind of stash it away like a squirrel, putting it in the little nest, and then pull it all back out and put it together. So constantly writing, but as far as actually getting it all put together, we're going to tour hard the rest of this year. We're going back over to Europe again in October and November, and then we'll do the 20-year anniversary of Bleed the Dream next year while we're still continuing to write. So by 2025, we should have another handful of Hemlock anthems ready to go.
Yeah. Well, because I've always thought that like Hemlock was a relatively, like, you guys are unequivocally a metal band, but I see elements of hardcore, some metalcore, some rock and groove in your style, and you could tell what would be off of Pigeonholes or what would be off of Shutdown or No Time for Sorrow or Bleed the Dream. When it comes to the songwriting, in a way, do you ever like enter it with like a vision in mind, or has your songwriting process always been rather improvised?
Pretty much kind of improvised. I mean, we like the variety of it too. Like there's some death metal influences and stuff. There's some new metal, there's some thrash, and just having the variety, but making sure that there's tons of catchiness and hooks in it. Cause we like when people can actually like latch on to something. Cause we have people come to the shows all the time that are diehard metalheads and hardcore fans. They'll come out two-stepping or circle pitting or whatever. But then there's a lot of times that there'll be people at the show and they're like, I don't usually listen to this kind of music, but I love you guys. And I can tell what you're saying. And I was screaming along and smiling from start to finish. So try to always have those hooks in there, whether it's vocal hooks or catchy riffs or whatever, but something that people can connect with.
That and it kind of goes with the live show and the CD flow or the album flow, just to make sure you do have that variety, so not every song sounds the same and it's an easy listen and there's something for everyone. And by the time you get done to it, you're like, wow, I can't believe it's already over. You know, you hit play again or streaming, I suppose, these days. But yeah, it just keeps the variety and keeps everything fresh and exciting. And that goes back to the set list. You know, I like writing those where you might have a sludgy, deathcore, you know, type of heavy, brutal breakdown too. The next one's going to be catchy, borderline, almost pop punk, you know, with an edge. And then the next one could just be straight up groove, and then some new metal, and then some old school thrash. Just because we've lived through all these eras, and we've been a product because we actually lived through it. It's not like we got together one day and be like, well, let's be this style of band. We've just always done what we've done and been in the heat of it the whole way along. So it's all sincere, it's all true. But yes, you can go back and you can hear Pigeonhole, hey, this is what was going on in 2001. And you can go back even further and be like, who controls us? You know, you can kind of get the vibes and hear the era of everything.
They're like the chapters in the big novel of Hemlock. But yeah, we've toured with so many different bands over the years too, like Dying Fetus and Cattle Decapitation and all these just huge guttural, crazy, you know, Cannibal Corpse bands and stuff. But then we've also toured with Disturbed and Head PE, and I'm like, I thought we were going to be too heavy when we were on tour with Disturbed, but we were like, there's no way we're going to say no because those shows are going to be huge and it'll be awesome. And we went out there and started cranking out our Hemlock tunes and had 3 mosh pits going at the same time. We were like, hell yeah, we can bridge that gap between Disturbed and Cattle Decapitation and somehow keep everybody entertained. You know, I don't know very many bands that can bridge between Head PE and all the way to some of the guttural of guttural, you know. So we just like all kinds of music. Faith No More was always our favorite band when we were a kid growing up, and they had all the variety mixed in. So, and then, you know, touring with Slayer, we weren't sure if we were going to be fast enough or whatever. And the second day of the tour, I was backstage, and Kerry King was back there, and he's like, "How'd you guys do last night?" I'm like, "I think we did good, you know." And we had the mosh pit going; it was fun. And he's like, "Did you get shit thrown at you?" I was like, "No." He's all, "You guys did real good." Then he's all, "Those Slayer fans are rowdy. Those guys are crazy." So. Yeah. It's cool to be able to tour with the different polar opposites of styles, you know. We even toured with Total Chaos before, a punk band from LA, and still did really good with that too. It was awesome. Plus you get to reach different demographics and different fans that way too.
Yeah. I first heard of Total Chaos from watching Cops. That's how I first heard of Total Chaos, because apparently like their show canceled and a riot happened because of it, and that just came on the documentary. Funny. So then I went up and looked up Total Chaos. So thanks to the TV show Cops, that was great marketing right there.
That's awesome.
Yep. The police department of whatever city that is was their publicist for that time period.
That's Total Chaos.
Yep. When it came to the lyrical concept, has Hemlock ever approached things from a conceptual level where like maybe lyrics or a lyrical idea maybe helped guided the direction with regards to the sound?
Yeah. We try to always have positive lyrics. We've never had a full themed album, like a storyline or anything, but we definitely always have the positivity and the optimism of the lyrics. Try to keep everybody motivated and not giving up on life and, you know, believing in yourself and not giving up on your dreams. So all the lyrics are always really, really positive and just driven towards
But yeah, there have been times that I'll have a lyric line that will influence the song as a whole, kind of.
Yeah. Even Nobody Knows What a Killer Looks Like, that song, when I just heard the line, I was like, that's great. You know, that'll be great. And we kind of built the song around the line. And then sometimes there's other ways where you just come up with a little riff and then you try to come up with some kind of cadence or phrasing of words that kind of match it. And you got an idea for a concept of a song or something. You know, we had a song called Dehumanization and just different ones that you build. And I had joked about that one for like 6 months and kind of just put all the different lyrics and parts and pieces together and had some different riffs and made them, you know. But then sometimes there is where you just build off of 1 or 2 lines of words or catchphrases that you do.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you had like the best lyrics ever and then they're always like 1 syllable over the arrangement of every song?
You gotta get creative.
Yeah. There's a couple times where I've gotten weird with the phrasing, you know, and it'll carry over into the next line. But some of what I do on purpose just to give it a mixture, you know, and the other people in the studio will be like, well, you should make it match like this or that or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's just how what I'm saying, how it flows, you know, it gives a little creativity to it.
No rules. I remember Revolution, actually, there was a line that was about to get thrown out. Me being a drummer, I could block him on the timing. So, saved one line, at least that's much like
As the drummer, have you always preferred to have music before you laid down your rhythmic contributions, or have you ever had a whole pattern written that maybe the band could write over?
It's been different always. So sometimes I've come in with the drum beat, and a lot of times I'll go to it. I sometimes like it someone will give me their opinion and put me in a direction. I was talking with James about that last night. He's coming at me with almost full songs and arrangements, and I'll actually pull from some of those drum beats. Early days, we'd go in when recording just all track live at the same time. Then it got to where I'd like to have a scratch guitar when I was recording and track the drums at the same time. Then I, then I got in the pattern where I just knew my material well enough. A lot of times I wouldn't even have like a guide track. I would just hit record and track the drums and have it so mapped out in my head. But the recording on the last two albums, again, was different. I would, me and Chad would get together, jam, film James, or send the videos to James. He would program the drums by watching what I was doing.
Because he was in Florida while we were out in the Midwest.
Yeah, being on lockdown.
We weren't able to see each other, so we'd send him the videos, and he'd program it on the drums, on the drum.
Basically, he had a drum program, so he built the songs in a session. These guys went back and then recorded. We all recorded separately. He did all the guitars. Chad did all the bass and then all the vocals. By the time all the travel restrictions were lifted, we got together and I actually recorded. We obviously deleted the program drums, and I went in and now tracked drums on top of fully completed album.
It was weird. Totally drums last. Usually drums are the first one to down, and he did drums very, very last because we had the program drums to record to. So it was a cool, weird way to do it. Then we layered all the leads and last little works on top, and came out good, polished.
No rules apparently.
Yeah.
Gotta get creative sometimes.
Of course. And the final question I wanted to ask you is going into your live show, because is there at all a similar energy? Because like when I listen to Hemlock, like I get like a essence, like a feeling like I'm in a live show. Like it gives you that like, you know,
awesome,
real energetic aspect behind it. There's some bands where I like to sit back, relax, and listen to them, and some bands where like that provoke like some sort of like emotion to relate. I feel like you guys just pack the groove that's needed in a live show. So is there any similar energy that you channel into your live presence as you do when you're songwriting?
I know what you're talking about because I love Opeth, and they're the type of band where you just kind of sit back and chill and listen to, you know, and stuff like that. But we've always been told that our live show is what sells the people, you know, that they get into it, and when they see it, they're like, all right. So we've always tried to capture that energy onto a recording, and I appreciate you saying that you feel the energy, because that's a goal that we try every single time. We're like, we got to try to like push and somehow transfer it over to the live without it being a live album. I mean, we've done a live album too, but you want to try to make the music and the lyrics come across what you're trying to portray.
Yeah, and I love those words, high energy and just fun and excitement. For Hemlock, that's what it's all about. You know, we're not putting out a snoozer of an album or anything. It's just those are my two favorite high words. Just high energy, I think.
Yeah.
Hard, heavy, and fun. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that too, and I can't believe this is 10 years old. But the Viva Las Vegas album, that I thought kind of proved the point of the question I asked, because it almost feels like it's just another Hemlock album. It doesn't feel like an actual live album. You know what I mean? Like Lamb of God has Philadelphia, fantastic live album, but you could unequivocally tell that that's a live album. But with Viva Las Vegas, I could listen to that and listen to it the same way when I listen to The Only Enemy or Violence and Victory, etc.
I love how much you know everything by title. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Cool.
We're going to have to play like a 45-song set for you at the show.
Please do. Just play the whole catalog. I'd greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We usually, it's funny because you'll see another band's set list online or whatever, and there'll be like 12 songs or whatever. Sometimes 15 if they're going real crazy, but almost every night we'll do about 20 to 24 songs. We do quite a few.
There have been a few that we've been hitting 30 songs.
Yeah.
There's a certain magical Ranger nights, and everyone wants more, and we're feeling good. And Yeah, there have been 3 or 4 nights where we've tapped into 30 songs in one set. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, oh fuck, what was I gonna say? Like, there was, oh yeah, with reading those set lists, what's really funny is they even count if like somebody sings "Happy Birthday" for an audience member, and they count that as like a cover. That's my favorite thing about setlist.fm. It's like, oh, "Happy Birthday," that's song number 5. And they mentioned like who the original artist, like Milford something, about it. I'm like, I really want to go up to a band now and be like, oh, can you play "Happy Birthday"? That's like my favorite deep cut you guys have.
Yeah.
Yep. And
That's funny.
there was actually one more question I wanted to ask. I forgot, and that is being a band that originated in Vegas, because I hear so many great heavy metal stories about Las Vegas, but and believe me, it's kind of an issue with New York. This is not neglecting the hardcore scene, but if like a band says I originated in Manhattan, they think of like the tourist New York City. Any band that comes from L.A. or Vegas or whatnot kind of suffers in that. But how has the underground scene in Vegas actually been? There's great bands out in Reno, I know, but how about Vegas?
Yeah, Reno had a big hardcore scene for a while, and of course, we love the New York hardcore scene with Propane and all those guys. We've toured in Europe three different times with Propane. Those guys are awesome. But
Oh, they're fucking amazing.
Vegas, it has its waves of up and down and up and down, and
so many distractions too.
It's a harder city. The more when we were younger, we would just promote as much. I mean, we still promote as much as we can, but when we were younger, we would go out every single night for 2 months straight, just promoting for one show. And it's funny because then we would go somewhere out of town and we're like, oh, you don't have all the crazy competition. Like you're in Phoenix, Arizona, and everything else closes. So people go to the clubs and the bars, and it's easier to get people to go to shows in other cities than in Vegas. So we had to work like 5 times as hard in Vegas, which gave us our idea and good work ethics. Because in Vegas, there's so much going on all the time. You can go to a buffet at 2 a.m. or you can go to so many different shows or cover bands or karaoke's and every night of the week. So
as far as the scene goes, we've definitely seen, like I said, the waves and bands come and go a lot, and you'll see them, members start another band and everything like that. So we still have old school homies from way back in the day. Very few bands are probably still at it. I mean, there are a handful, but it's still kind of cool to come. Well, they come out to the show, but now they're also bringing their kids, and it's like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So then their kids are now sometimes in bands opening up for us and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. That one in Vegas, that last show, we did a big metal festival in Vegas, and one of the dads were there, and he's like, I used to see you at the Huntridge Theater, and now my boy's opening up for you. So It's cool to see. I mean, Vegas, it definitely takes like 10 times the promotion to make it happen, but it's a great city. We love it. And glad that that's where we're from, and it's always fun to go back and see the family and all the friends from back in the day.
And the changes, constantly changing.
Yeah, they're always blowing up buildings for movies and then building new things and tearing down things and building more things. And Vegas is a crazy city.
Yeah, no, it's got to be awesome. I would love to just be able to watch you guys play while I do the slot machines. It would be convenient.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, I've only been to Vegas once on a layover, but I won 10 cents in the slot machines there, so I'm feeling like
winner. Yeah.
Yep, I did.
Most people lose their houses.
Yeah, well, I'm not betting that. But before we go, I want to thank you both so much for your time and for coming on the show today, and thank you for your 30 years of your amazing music. Is there just anything else with Hemlock you'd like to promote? I know I'll be seeing you in New York, but
yeah, I guess I should tell you the show details real quick, just in case if anybody watching and checking it out doesn't know yet. But Sunday, August 13th at Kingsland at 269 Norman Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're excited to come back. Hemlock, Exosphere, and Blood Red Roses. And it says it's a 16 and over show. So if you saw us 16 years ago, and now I guess
if you were born 16 years ago, now you
come to the show. I was going to say, if you saw us 25 years ago, you could bring your 16-year-old now, but that still doesn't even make sense. My math's off.
Doors are 7.
Yeah, doors are at 6. It says it's a Sunday night, so I think it's a little bit earlier of a show, but we're excited to rock at Kingsland. It's going to be good times. And I heard Exosphere and Blood Red Roses are awesome, so it'll be nice to meet those guys and bang some heads too.
And obviously you can check out all the socials and whatnot. We got a bunch of videos on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that. We're all over. Hemlockworld.com is the official.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. Everybody, we are here with Hemlock. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Alex. Right on. See you
Cheers.
soon.